Word on the street is that FLW is the thing to see, and John Cox is the man to be. My guest for Catching Up with Chris Jones, Episode 3, is none other than the 2016 Forest Wood Cup champion, John Cox. John, what's up, man?
Hey, man, that was awesome. I honestly felt like I was at a weigh-in there for a second. And I got some little chills going. I've been dying to get back out there. And,
I hear you, man.
That was just a reminder of something that I definitely missed from the whole tournament. You don't realize until we're in this break how much you really love bass fishing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, dude. It is. Hey, I'm glad we're 3 events in right now. I'm glad we got that third one at Lake Martin in, but I'm so glad to have you on the show, man. I think the fishing world sitting at home needs to hear from John Cox, man. What you been up to?
Oh my gosh, man. I mean, it honestly, this is the first time we've had any kind of downtime like this ever that I can ever remember. So I mean, I'm doing projects that I had planned years and years ago. I mean, every day I'm working on the house. Trying to get a lot of fishing in too, but I mean, I just, I used to do a lot of drywall and painting and, and remodel stuff. And, I just don't have it in me like I used to. So I mean, we hung drywall in one little room and I was so tired. I was like, the mud and stuff will have to wait, so, but yeah, that's about it. And been hanging out with the kids and stuff. I'm telling you, the toughest part about this whole thing is being, like a teacher for the kids, doing the online thing, man. I'm telling you, like, my hats go off to all the teachers that deal with these kids every day and everything, and it's just, but it's going, everything's going good, everything's working out, everybody's healthy, so yeah,
that's good stuff, man. Hey, let's talk about John Cox, man. Career stats for a second. For the folks that are tuning in, man, to Catching Up with Chris Jones, Episode 3, this is John Cox. He has won $1.4 million with FLW. $1.4 million. 7 tournament wins. That's 5 on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, 2 in the Phoenix Bass Fishing League, 33 top 10s. He's a 7-time Forest Wood Cup qualifier, including the win in 2016 on Lake Wheeler, where he was fishing in a ditch. And we're going to be talking about that win here in just a minute. But 10 years on the pro circuit, man, had a lot of success. And one of those guys that always comes through boat check, smiling, ready to go fishing, loves what he does. John, you got a great passion for this sport, man. With bass, you're also fishing the Elite Series this year. A 2-time Classic qualifier, Bassmaster Classic qualifier, and a guy who just knows how to catch them shallow everywhere we go, no matter what time of year it is. And I think that's the way we're going to kick off the show. We're going to talk about what makes John Cox so good shallow fishing, man. I know for a while you didn't even have electronics on your boat, right?
Yeah. The whole electronic thing, that was almost like a freak thing, every year I get my crest liner and everything, and I usually rig it, and I finished rigging it, the first day of practice going into the season. I'm at the boat ramp, doing a few more things to it, getting it ready, and man, we were running a little late, and I think I was at tow or something. I think we were in 2014 or something, and just didn't have time to put any of the transducers on or anything, and we went out and had an awesome tournament, and from that point on, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to the next one without it, and we went and we did good. And then the next one out, and then next thing you know, we're, 3/4 of the way in, I think we were leading AOY. So I was like, so we just let it roll. We just beat the bank. And, it was probably one of the best decisions, I've ever made, fishing and stuff. It just really, got me dialed in,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I remember that tournament. I remember that run at that AOY title very, very well. But, not so long ago, we had co-anglers, that fished with us on the pro circuit. And almost every co-angler that would come across that fished with John Cox would always say the best shallow water fisherman or the best sight fisherman I've ever been in the boat with, man. And I know, hey, you love Florida lakes, you love grass fishing. Man, what is it that makes – what makes you so good shallow shallow water fisherman, man, because there's so many guys that love the shallow water fish, John. I mean, that fish the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, man. But I'm gonna tell you, you're one of the best in the game, if not the best in the world at it.
Man, I've had, talking about the co-anglers, I've had a few of those co-anglers really whoop up on me over the years, and they actually taught me a little bit. There's a couple guys, they know who they are. They'll watch this and they'll be like, yeah, I'll beat John every time I went with them. But, I learned a lot from them guys. And, man, I do miss the co-anglers. I know sometimes the co-anglers would get a little competitive and, but I kind of miss that, having some of them guys and, and then having, bringing my travel partner with me. But, the whole shallow water grass thing, man, I really think it's a commitment thing. When I get to a tournament, I go, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I enjoy doing. And I'm not going to do anything else, and if I don't catch them, oh, well, go to the next one. And I think a key to it too is in my practice, I don't count any spots out that look right. Like you get in an area, you got some bait. It just looks like the right area. I'll go to my Lowrance and I'll type in, no bites, but, has potential or something. And so many times going back to those areas in the tournament have paid off huge. And I mean, those, some of the wins have come that way, going to an area that I had no bites in practice, but look right in the fish are there, so it just, you have to somewhat take a little bit of a risk and, and do a lot of praying.
Absolutely. I guarantee that's right. Guarantee that's right, man. You're fishing to your strengths, and I love that. What makes one area better than another, man? I mean, bottom composition, you're looking at the bank. I'm sure a lot of different factors go into that.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of when I get in the area, that's kind of what I do. I assess it. I take my rod tip and I jam it down in the bottom and see if it's nice and hard bottom or too muddy or whatever. And then just like checking seeing the water clarity, seeing what's growing on the bottom, seeing any kind of life. When you get in an area and it's just completely stagnant, you can almost kind of write off some of the areas. But if you get in there and you got, a lot of bluegill, a lot of shad, you got all the forages there. It's just, they're going to show up there sooner or later, because they're going to come there and eat. So
seems like they show up a lot for you, man. And I tell you what's really impressive, man, is that, what, we travel all over the country, man. I think about Kentucky Lake. That year you finished, I believe it was 13th. Mm-hmm. That wasn't so long ago, and that was a ledge fishing deal, man.
Right.
We've been on Kentucky several times when it's been a ledge buster ball game, and man, you caught them shallow, man. And I'm telling you, nobody really does that on Kentucky Lake much anymore, man. I mean, the ledge game, the electronics game is. The big schools are offshore. Mm-hmm. And I remember that year you finished 13th fishing shallow. And guys, time to time, but man, that's you're talking about a risk. Yeah, that's a risk.
Right. Yeah. And I tried the offshore thing there, but those guys, are so good doing that, and that's their deal. I couldn't compete with them out there. So when I went to a place like Kentucky Lake, I was going to fish shallow and just do the best I could and take the points and go to the next one. And man, I miss going to Kentucky Lake. I'm hoping we get to go back there soon one of these days. I mean, that's like one of the first northern lakes I really got to visit. Leaving Florida and went there and was just like, wow, I thought all the lakes were going to be like that. I'm like, man, this fishing stuff's going to be great. But it was definitely one of the better lakes. So it just, I hope we get to go back soon.
Absolutely, man. It'll recover. We had the carp issue going on. Mm. The government's spending millions of dollars trying to get that figured out and get that taken care of. So at some point, they all go through bad cycles. We're hoping and praying, man, Kentucky Lake rebounds from the carp issue, because you're right. It's a great lake. You can catch them shallow, deep, between.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to. I mean, it is. It just, all lakes do that. I mean, I remember Chick was dead there for years, and no one went, and then all of a sudden it came back stronger than ever. And,
absolutely.
So I'm looking forward.
15 pounders.
Yeah. I think Kentucky Lake's definitely going to do the same thing.
Hey, I like your backdrop there, by the way, man.
You like that? Look at that.
I'm trying to figure out if you're actually out there fishing or.
Yeah. Sun's just starting to go down there over my shoulder.
I'm seeing that, man.
Someone's out there fishing, but yeah.
love it, man. I love it. Well, hey, listen, with the schedule on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit being adjusted, our 3 springtime events that are left are now summertime events. Is that a bummer for John Cox?
No, it's great. No, I honestly, I look forward to the spring. And I thought about it. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna really take a beating this summer. But and then I started thinking, I'm like, all our guys are gonna be out. There's gonna be a lot of open water up shallow, hopefully, where it's not too busy. And maybe we'll run into something a little special. I mean, that does happen throughout the summer. There's certain weeks, so whether we get a ton of rain or something happens, that those fish make that transition, and it's unreal that they go up and get in that 80, 90 degree water, start chasing bluegills just out of nowhere, So, maybe one of the tournaments will line up like that, and we're also going to some awesome smallmouth fishing. So, I mean, that's going to be, I honestly, I do love doing that. I love putting the trolling motor down, getting the boat in about 20, 22 feet, and just start trolling. And then as soon as I see one down there, drop down to it. And those lone ones are usually big ones. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that for just a second, man. The sight fishing thing, man, you're one of the best in the world at that. That's, there's guys, again, some of your co-anglers that fish with you, they're like, man, I don't know what you're looking at. How do you see that fish? And you're like, I'm telling you, it's there. I've heard these stories, man, on the screen. And all of a sudden, you're catching it, pointed in. And he's like, oh my gosh, it was there.
Right,
How do you see him so good, man?
Man, I don't know. I just, that's kind of what I grew up doing. I grew up in DeBary, where I live now, and the thing was we go to the springs a lot, walk a lot of the banks at the spring. So it was, it was looking at fish from the. I mean, that's what I fell in love with, looking at them and trying to sneak up and throw in front of them and catch them before they knew you were, trying to pick them off. So I mean, it's just it's incredible that when I start doing that in the tournament, how comfortable I feel.
Yep.
I'm that kid again, wading on the side of the creek or in my little canoe, that I had back in the woods, and it just flows so well, and that's why I just love doing it. I just, I mean, every once in a while I'm not going to catch them, but roll on to the next one and get ready for it, So
Absolutely, John. Let's talk about your success, man. In the last 6 years, you finished in the top 10 5 times. 5 times. Right. Top 10 in the last 6 years. And the other time you were outside the top 10, but you definitely qualified for another Forrest Wood Cup. Right. Your early years, that was a bit of a struggle, man. I've watched the evolution of John Cox, man. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, a lot of stuff's happened, and that's what a lot of these younger guys, they get a couple years in, and they'll start learning themselves better, and you'll start knowing your strengths, and no second guessing. Once you get 4 or 5 years in, you don't second guess anything as much as you did in the earlier years. You go to a lake. I mean, I remember, for instance, Kentucky Lake. We had all them guys out there, big swim baits, crushing them. I thought, when we went to Kentucky Lake, I would do that, and I would fish almost all the way to the last 2 hours, and then I'd go beat the bank and catch what I caught the last. So now going back, I just do what I like to do, and
love that.
And just go. And man, I'm telling you, I mean, I remember times. This is one funny story. So I was so broke going to the tournament. And I was actually dropped out of the entire season. Wasn't going to go. One of my doctor buddies lent me the money, to go to Okeechobee. He's like, man, you catch them on Okeechobee, you're going to do awesome. So get to Okeechobee. I finished like 170th. So I'm way back, and I'm like, man, I am done. He's like, hey, give it one more shot. So he gave me the money. We went to Hartwell, got to Hartwell. It was completely broke. I had to decide whether I was going to buy a foot-long meatball sub from Subway that day or buy a 3/4 ounce rattle trap. And I opted to grab the 3/4 ounce rattle trap and ended up finishing second place with it, and then it just got rolling the rest of the season, paying them back. So I mean, it's been an amazing ride for sure.
Man, that's an incredible story. People don't realize the sacrifice that it takes, man. They just don't, man. You have to have passion for this game.
Yeah, you got to love it for sure. I mean, it's got its high points and its low points, and but boy, man, it's so rewarding when you get to a place where everything's just going good and stuff, and it's all worth it in the end.
let's talk about your breakout tournament, man. 2011 Pro Circuit. We go down to Louisiana. We're on the Red River. And of course, man, they've been running this show. If you don't know that, on FLWFishing.com on our classics episodes.
Yeah,
and I love that. You and I look a lot different, by the way.
I know that. When I saw it on the classic and I saw my face on it, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm old now. What has happened? You know, I went and bought some hair dye. I haven't used it yet, but man, I'm definitely dyeing my hair when I get the time. I was like, man, but
great,
boy, what an awesome event that was, boy. That one was special. I mean, it was the same thing, you know. I thought it was going to be my last tournament, you know, because
I knew that story.
Yeah, that was man, but it just it turned out so well, you know. And then I ended up winning, and then my buddy Keith that traveled with me, he ended up winning the co-angler side, and boy, we were high-fiving all the way back to the house. But it was boy, that was definitely a life-changing moment for sure.
Absolutely, man. You were pushing through that culvert, man. I love our TV footage we got. That was a great TV show, by the way. How did you find that area, man? How did you?
Oh my!
And plus, how risky was that, man?
Yeah, it was. You know, it was pure panic finding that place. The river was super high. It was real. You couldn't. I wasn't getting bit anywhere, and so I was just running to the back of every pocket, just trying to find some kind of clean water flowing in. And when I got back there, you know, there was this huge pipe, and there was clean water coming through, and I was like, man, I was like, I think we can get the boat in there, you know. And you know, I got the boat in there, and then the water was pretty high, so I got in there, and I just stuck the nose in, and I threw out in front of the boat, and I shook one off. I threw out again and shook another one off, and I'm like, man, this is where I'm going, you know. This is where I'm going to fish my tournament. And then I went back and just prepared for it and lightened the whole boat up, took all the batteries out but one starting battery, and man, just crossed my fingers and somehow got in there 2 days. And you know, so we don't have any money, we don't have any push poles, nothing. We ended up having to go to Lowe's, and we had to get 2 2x4s, and that was our push poles to get in there. And man, it was just when I got there day one, we barely got in, you know, barely got over there. The water was falling, we barely got out. When I went day two, I was like, it'll be a miracle to get in there. Like, it will be, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, if you look at it, the water's just trickling in. It's on the video. I mean, there's no water there. The boat shouldn't be able to go through there. And somehow we floated it in there, you know, and it was just, and it was unbelievable. And, you know, hammered the fish. Was coming out, there was barely any water. You know, we weren't allowed out of the boat going in, but to get out, you could get out of the boat.
Yep.
And camera crews, when we were coming back through, they're like, man, there's all these eggs all over the place. And I was like, what do you mean? And then it dawned on me, there was a huge alligator nest right there.
Wow.
and we were, me and my co-angler had to jump out in the pipe, you know, and try to work the boat back out to get back to weigh-in. So it was just, man, it was an incredible tournament. And gosh, man, I mean, that was a huge turning point in my life.
Oh man, that's an awesome story, man. I love it. I didn't know that about the alligator eggs.
It was pretty scary getting back through that thing.
I guarantee you. I think Mark Rose gave you a good run at that. Tournament. That was a great weigh-in. You won it by several pounds, but that was life-changing for you, and that really set your career in the right direction. Hey, talk about aluminum boats, man.
Oh man,
one of these guys, you don't have to have that fully rigged fiberglass bass boat with, you know, all the electronics and everything that we think that we need for, you know, to fish the pro circuit, man.
Right.
You still down and you make it work. I love that about John Cox, man.
Yeah. You know, I really love fishing out of. I run a Crestliner. I actually the last couple of years I've run the two different ones. I ran the Bass Hawk, that's more of a walleye version when we'd go up north. And then I'd run the PT20, you know, when we fish more of the rivers and stuff. And it's just something to me when I'm running down the lake. You know, I'm not running 70 miles per hour like everybody else. You know, I'm running like mid 40s, 50s. You know, and I'm able to actually think like, what's the next move? What's going on? And I do a lot of that running down the lake, and I really feel it helps me get dialed in on the next move I'm gonna make. You know, and I'm just comfortable. You know, I grew up fishing the John Boat Club, you know, and fishing out of a 12-foot rowboat, you know, with that we threw a deck in and everything. It was just, you know, a little tiny motor on it, but it just brings back just going back to, like, you know, so I love it every time I go. You know, it's not, you know, it's still a job and stuff, but it's still, I love it every time. You know, I love to go practice and love to fish the events.
You know what? And that makes you an easy guy to root for, man. Because we all started in a John boat.
Right, yeah. And I appreciate everybody. I mean, a lot of people don't realize, especially I love those texts I get, you know, in the middle of the tournament, like, hey, you know, pick up the pace, or, you know, man, you're struggling, you know, like I love seeing that when I get in off the water, you know, and you know, just knowing everybody's you know, rooting for me and stuff. I love it. It really helps me, keeps me going.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're a star on FLW Live. I can promise you that. You're awesome. Hey, and I tell you what, you bring the 2 E's to it, man: education and entertainment.
Right.
You're a great promoter of this sport. You know, we talked about the Angler of the Year, man. You know, the Angler of the Year race and how close you've been. I mean, the past several years, man, going into the final event, you've had a chance to knock that AOY points title down, win the Angler of the Year. So close, but you know what? A lot of people don't realize back in 2009, FLW Series BP Eastern Division.
That's right.
And that's one of the toughest circuits in the world.
Oh yeah. I remember
you
that.
You won the Angler of the Year, man. You've done this before.
Yeah, I know. I think that was the same year Thrift was winning AOY and everything, and I think it came down to me, him, and JT Kenny, and man, at that last tournament there, that was. Man, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna win. You know, I got, you know, Thrift's winning everything, JT's catching them everywhere, and I think I said something like, well, if Thrift breaks down, I might have a shot. And guess what? Thrift broke down the last day.
Really?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So it was just.
I should remember that, man.
That's going way back, but man, it was just. Yeah, that was an awesome tournament. You know, and I don't know, I've been so close, and then I just look at it too. I mean, it comes down to, you know, sometimes just even a fish loss, or, or just one time, I think I caught like 4 fish instead of 5, you know, and I mean, every point counts. And man, those guys that have won that title, I mean, they've had amazing years, and they're really good fishermen, you know. So I mean, I'm hoping one of these times we'll get it. We've been so close, you know. I'm just telling you, and it's something I've wanted. That's actually a goal that, you know, since that started, you know, it's like, man, you know, maybe not the first year, but the next year, you know. And then I think I might say that every year. Oh, we don't get it this year, we'll get it next year, you know. And it's frustrating because you want to win that so bad. But boy, I mean, I'm telling you, even the last year we went into it, I think it was me and Dudley at Champlain, and Champlain's Dudley's favorite lake. I love Champlain, but I seem to never finish more than like 30th. You know, I'm always right there. Just don't make the final day. And boy, man, I'm telling you that, you know, losing, being that close and losing, it is rough. Like, it's hard to take that lose, but you know, it really gets you going for the next year, you know. And then, you know, we come right out of next year and we win the first one. So it was, you know, it definitely, you know, helped, you know, in the long run, I guess.
Absolutely, it did. You know, I get that. And just in conversations with some of the guys from time to time, you know, John Cox, man, he's been so close to winning that Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit AOY title so many times. I'm like, hey, man, he has won one before.
Yeah. Right.
The 2009 season being real special for you, but the 2011 win on the Red River really got your career started in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And I love the story. Just your story is, man, it's a great story, because everybody dreams of fishing the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit at some point in their life, man.
Right.
You fish against the best in the world for the most money in the world. And it's kind of one of those things where, like I said before, we all started in that John boat, man.
Right.
And we all had to pay tournament entry fees. And it's one of those deals, man, where you made your dream, you made it reality.
Yeah. I mean, that's
why you're so easy to root for, John. People love that story, man. You weren't handed anything, man.
And you know, I got to thank, you know, you guys and FLW and for, you know, giving me that platform to be able to even do that, you know. And I mean, there was a couple times where, you want to quit and give up, and you're like, gosh, this isn't going to work. And, it just, we were able to do it. And, man, it's just awesome. Every time I just, almost got to pinch myself every morning when I wake up and be like, wow, this is what I get to do every day, and then it's just so cool.
I'll tell you, 5 wins on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, but none bigger in 2016, Huntsville, Alabama, Wheeler Lake. And you found another gold mine way up a ditch, man.
That's just, even just hearing you say that, like, that tournament was so unreal. I got the cup in my house. It's always in a different place. There's not like a particular place. Like right now, I think it's in the center of the living room on the floor. And we were flipping through the arms on it. We're practicing pitching, me and the kids. But
it's hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, even when I see that thing, it was such an unreal feeling. And that was another late in the year kind of tournament. Summertime, was hot, everybody was out, and it was incredible to get into that area. I only thought I was going to catch a lemon in there. I get all the way back there, and out of nowhere, all this duckweed shows up. No duckweed during practice. I only had a few bites. All this duckweed floods in after the rain we had the night before, and I got one frog in the boat. Luckily, it was in there. Tied that sucker on, and it was unbelievable for 4 days. It's incredible.
Some of the footage we got from your fish catches were awesome, man. I remember Byron Velvet being on the water trying to get back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. When I would run in every morning, I'd have like 10 guys behind me. And by the time I got there, none of them were even, they had to idle in the rest of the way. And they're like, when they finally got up to me, they're like, John, you owe me a prop, because they were running all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it was super cool tournament. That was a neat one.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, man. Hey, what about so you got a pond and it's stocked full of fish, right? Mm-hmm. And you feed them birthday cake. Is that true?
Yeah. Man, so it's unreal. So these fish
you've got footage of it. You've got footage of it.
Oh right? Yeah. You can. I mean, it's unbelievable. They eat pizza, they eat cake, anything that's left over in the fridge, you can throw it in there and they eat it. Right now they're on a bologna kick. I don't know why. Bologna's cheap, and it's I was feeding them shiners for a while. And shiners are expensive. They're almost $3 a piece right now.
Well, so man.
Yeah, they were eating better than we were. So I was like, man, I got them over to bologna right now, and we'll just hope it doesn't kill any of them. I don't know, feeding them about 2 packs a day.
Oh man, that's awesome. How big are they, man? What's your biggest one?
Yeah, the biggest one's probably 9 or 10.
Wow.
There's some that will come up. There's bigger ones in the pond. A lot of times, we either accidentally catch them when we're out there fishing, or one of the kids catch them. But the ones that come up, that will eat out of your hand, is probably about 8 or 9 pounds. There's some pretty good ones.
Man, that's fun right there. That's good stuff.
Oh man, that's why when I picked my house out, I was with the realtor, and they went to the front door, and I was like, I want to look in the backyard first. And I walked down, and I had my rod, and I fired out, and I was counting my swim bait down, and it was just kept going. I'm like, wow, it's deep. And then all of a sudden, dunk, I didn't even turn the handle. And we caught like a 9-pounder, and I was like, I'll take the house. Never even looked inside it, nothing. We just bought it. I was like, we're taking it. That lake's got water in it, and there's giants in it. We'll take it.
Oh, man, that's a wow right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, last fall, man, Major League Fishing acquires FLW. And I want to tell you, that partnership has been awesome. Awesome, taking this sport to the next level. The Bass Pro Tour, I know, hey, no entry fees. You're fishing against the best anglers, most accomplished anglers with the best resumes in the world. And John Cox, I just got this feeling you're going to be a part of that one day.
Oh, I hope so, man. I mean, a lot of them guys, now they have it structured so well to make it there. And, it's been going good. I've been watching a lot of it. A lot of it looks good, on the TV and stuff. And, man, it's exciting. It's fun to watch. And, I think that's all the FLW Pro Circuit guys. That's what everybody's shooting for. So I think there's another year of qualification, and then they're going to take 10 of us. So yeah, I mean it's exciting. I mean, they're going to some awesome lakes this year, some big fish lakes, and
Absolutely.
yeah, it's pretty neat.
Something tells me you would do really well in that catch, weight, release format too, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to try it. Hopefully one of these days I'll get to try it. But
hey, look at this. Look at our FLW title, man. August, St. Lawrence River, man. We're up in New York, man. That's a smallmouth deal. That's going to be Major League Fishing BPT format, man.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's where I'll get the experience and try it out and see how it is. And man, that's going to be an awesome tournament, man. St. Lawrence is incredible. Every time I'm up that way, I always stop in, even if it's for like a couple hours, and it always blows my mind how good it is.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. All right, man. What about your girls, man? Your family, it means so much to you. You win the season opener this year down in Texas at Selm Rayburn. Family's there, man. How important are your girls to you, brother?
Oh, man, it was awesome. The chick tournament last year when we won that, one of them was testing, so she wasn't able to come. So just the little one was there, and but where they were both able to come to Rayburn, it was just special. They might give me a hard time the rest of the time, but after we won that one, that kind of gets me they're pretty good to me after. They don't pick on me too bad after that for a little bit. They're like,
they know where the check's going, man. They know where the money's going.
Yeah. But they're doing good. They're getting big so fast, man. And I mean, this break really opened my eyes to just how much they've grown, and just how time is flying. And I mean, I think that's if there's anything good out of everything that's going on, is that families are spending a ton of time together. Even though they might be going a little crazy and stuff, it's still so nice to spend that kind of time. And like, we were just playing catch in the front yard before it got dark, and man, it was just and they were throwing so hard it was hurting my hand, and it was just like, geez, I used to have to really be careful throwing it to them, and I was back there and I was getting pro hopping and launching it at them, and so it's just neat. It's and we're doing a lot of fishing, and my oldest one, she's the middle one, she's 11. She caught one about 9 or 10 the other day, and
wow.
It was near a bridge. We were throwing shiners, but it was near a bridge, and that fish stripped her towards the pilings, and I'm like, oh, that fish is gone, and it'll break her off. And she loosened up that drag and fought him around the pilings and got him in, and I was just like, wow, maybe he has been watching me.
It's in her blood, man.
Yeah, I was like, wow. It was impressive. So
that's good stuff. I think the coronavirus, this whole COVID-19 thing has woke us up, man. I think it's opened all of our eyes to see just how important home is and family is, and cherishing this time and trying to stay safe and healthy,
Right, 100%. Yep.
Well, this is your time, man. Before we close out this show, I want to give you the opportunity to say anything to anybody in the FLW universe, your sponsors. Your time, John Cox.
Man, I got to thank FLW. I mean, they've been so good to me over the years, and they've really helped me, do this fishing thing every day, and it's just been incredible, man. And man, I appreciate everything you do, because I try to make it to the weekend so I can see you. And that is something I'm always like, man, I got to see Chris. I got to make it to, even if I'm not going to do, I just got to make that 30 cut. And man, and I got to thank Crestliner and Mercury. I mean, they've been. I mean, gosh, I don't even know what I would be running if it wasn't for them. And man, I just love the boats, love the motors. New Mercuries, they're incredible. They have so much power, and it's amazing. Every time we crank that sucker up, it's just so mean sounding. The Pro XS one, love that. And Berkeley and Abu. Berkeley's been. It's amazing how many baits we have now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm every day. I'm trying something new. I went through a whole box of stuff I haven't even got to try yet, and I'm gonna go out tomorrow and Sunday, and I'm gonna try a lot of the new stuff. And man, I'm telling you, some of the stuff they've hit some stuff that just perfect. They couldn't make the bait any better. I mean, and it just I've just been thrilled. I mean, and it's awesome. I'm able to fish with their stuff and win tournaments, and it's been going good. So. And I got to thank, Power Pole, Teenage Marine.
Absolutely.
Lowrance, Battleborn batteries, been running those batteries, I have an awesome setup. If no one's seen it, I mean, they can go on, my Instagram and we're doing like some live stuff on Crestliner's Instagram and I kind of show everybody the setup. I got running 6 batteries in each boat. So it's an awesome setup for trolling around pretty quick and stuff. But yeah, and that's about it. Thank my family for letting me do this and putting up with it all the time.
Absolutely. They're your biggest sponsors, man.
Yeah, without a doubt.
For sure, man. I love your girls, man. They're always with you. Hey, John, thanks for joining me on the show, man. This is episode 3, Catching Up with Chris Jones.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. It was awesome. Hopefully we'll get to do it again. Or hopefully I'll see you soon and make the cut in the next one.
A 5 bass limit on Championship Sunday for John Cox.
Man, I need that
2 bass bass.
Need it so bad. God, can't wait, man.
I hear you, John, man. Thanks for joining me. Hey, listen, for everything fishing, log on to flwfishing.com. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll be back next week with a new pro. Until then, God bless.